Good afternoon, everybody. This is Scott from Advanced Auto Parts and CarQuest. We're here at Hylton High School today to kick off auction day of their SEMA Jeep build. Everybody enjoy this week's episode of Bulldog Builds and start the bidding.
Thanks, Scott. Scott's the general manager at the Featherstone CarQuest in Woodbridge, and he's been our parts go-to guy here at Hylton for many years. The other two gentlemen, Raphael and Zach Godbold, I'd like to thank you for your contributions as well. There were a lot of SEMA people that stepped up and donated components that make the vehicle look the way the vehicle looks, but the advanced team is the one that stepped up and gave us all the maintenance items, radiator, gaskets, spark plugs, water pump, steering components, battery, and so forth, that make the vehicle a lot more well-rounded. So whoever wins this vehicle next week at auction is not only going to be getting a very good-looking vehicle, they're going to be getting a vehicle that they're not going to have to pull maintenance on for a very long time. So again, thank you guys very much for your contributions. I'd also like to add that this is going to be the last time that you'll see this Jeep in our shop. As I said, it is up for auction on a site called Bring a Trailer. It went on auction today and will be on for the next 7 days. So if you're interested in either following along or maybe bidding on it, go to bringatrailer.com, search SEMA Jeep, and all of the Jeeps will show up and you can see how we're doing. And again, if you're interested in purchasing it, bid, and good luck to you if you do. Thank you all for following along over the last few months, for all the hard work that the students did in building this Jeep. It's been a wonderful journey for them and me as well. But continue following along. We still have a lot more projects that we're in the middle of. The 69 Nova, we'll get back to the Cadillac Volkswagen very soon. And there's a lot of other things that we're working on throughout the weeks, even during the summer, that we hope you see very interesting. So again, thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoy this episode.
I'm making a template to cut a patch panel.
So we got our patch panel sheared and tacked in place. We welded a screw onto the end of it to act as a handle so we could hold it in place while we were tacking it. We'll get all that ground off later. But what Alejandro is going to do now is he's going to finish seam welding this whole thing around. We could just tack it in and put body filler over. We're going to seam weld the whole thing and then get it ground off so we have less need for filler.
So now that we've got our first mold and our part made and the imperfections taken care of, we now need to make a reverse of this mold so that we can use that to make the actual part that we need for the block machine. So the first step in this is to spray more polyvinyl alcohol on this piece as a release agent, so that when we put the rest of the resin and the fiberglass on it for the other part, we'll be able to get the two separated. So that's what we're going to do now. Alright, so we're ready to lay on our second part of the mold. We've got our resin mixed up with a little bit of thickening agent, not as much as before. We've got our PVA set up. Get this stuff poured on. Spread out like we did the last one. Looks like I'll be mixing some more here. Whole thing filled up. Alright, we've got more resin. My glove. So I really get to work on this thing. Alright, so that pretty much does this. We'll have to wait till it kicks off and separate it. To hopefully see if it will separate. I can always come back and add more to this later after it's set up to make it even stronger if need be. But I just want to got to get the mold made first. Alright, so Alejandro has our patch panel welded in, and he's hard ground the welds down. And now we're going to pad sand or pad grind the areas to get them smoother. You can see this area has already been done here. So what he's going to do is do the same with the rest of these welds that were ground down to make it look like this. Then we're going to need a bare minimal amount of filler, if any at all, to finish off that rust repair. So we've got two more of our rust holes and the Nova deck lid cut out. What we've done this time for this repair is we've made an oval that Alejandro has got ground and ready to fit. We put another screw on the end of it for a handle, and he's going to fit that into the one hole, and then we're going to get it positioned, get it tack welded into the deck lid, and then grind it all down. And then that one will be ready for a little bit of filler. Then we'll do the same thing or something similar with the other holes in the deck lid. Alright, so you see what he did is he's got the oval set up for the patch a little bit bigger than the hole, so that he can go into the hole and pull back. Now he'll start tack welding here, and then that'll fit the patch into the hole. And then we'll undercoat it from the back side, and we'll have a pretty good solid repair. So you can see he's got these ground down and finished. Really nice repairs here. Different than the one here. This is more of a flush repair. This is another way of doing it from in the back side, even though you can't reach the back side. By cutting those ovals, he was able to get them put in and welded. All we have to do now is take a sandblaster, and we'll sandblast that in the inside of there so that the plastic will stick, and we'll put a little filler over it, and then that'll take care of those two rust repairs. And this small hole here, we've got a third and different repair altogether that we're going to show you on that one. And we'll do that next time. Alright, so as you can see, we're back here with our mold. I took and ground the edges all off so we can get our opening back between the two. So what I'm going to do is get it started with some screwdrivers here. And I don't want to put too much pressure on with a screwdriver, so I've got some paint paddles here to stick in place. So you can hopefully spread. The edges are the easy part. Don't want to force it. Just want to put these in there so they'll add some pressure. We'll get a few more. Boom! And there it is. Let's see how much we messed up. Cool. Well, one small error. I'll show you that in just a second. It's going to be fixed. Okay. That's this piece right there, which we can put back in. Not too concerned about that. We can actually resin that piece right back into where it came from. Then we've got a few little cracks here. That's from the heating process and a little bit too much hardener, more than likely. But I'm still okay with that as well. The reality is that how the blocks are going to be made and everything formed, none of that's going to be seen. So again, we now have the actual template piece, or the piece that we would need. This is the piece we made and needed off of the block. This is the piece we actually need to take to the foundry so he can make the aluminum piece of this. So this is my John Deere LUC engine. Use it as a stationary engine now. It originally came off of a 12A combine from back in the 40s. This is what I use or have been using to run my concrete block machine, which you'll see coming soon. Piston to cylinder wall clearance is still around 11 thousandths, which is pretty good. Not much taper to it, but as you can see here, the ring in the cylinder, the ringing gap is pretty big. We're supposed to be looking at probably 11 to 12 thousandths ringing gap, maybe 14, but that is considerably bigger than that. I'll actually get something to measure with so I'll know for sure, but it is way too wide. It looks almost like a quarter of an inch. So definitely the reason why this thing was probably smoking and a little difficult to start. So we'll get all this back together soon and get it ready for a steam show that's coming up.
Next time on Bulldog Builds, more rust repair for our 69 Nova deck lid. We'll see if our LUC engine gets back together, and we'll see how our Jeep did at auction. See you next week.